everyone, and mic check. Welcome to our very first live session in 2026, and I'm so glad we are doing this right now. Today, we have a guest, and I'm waiting for her to join. And we're going to be talking about something really very educative, very important, and you're going to be learning a lot because I'm not going to be the only one speaking right here. So, while I wait for my guests, I'm still waiting for her to join. They're talking about being a rookie parent or a dummy parent to a pro. Who is driving? To a pro in sex education. From rookie, from dummy, from not knowing anything to knowing a lot. From being a non-sex educating parent to a professional sex educating parent. In fact, not just a pro, but also a trainer, right? Yeah, a trainer. So, and we're going to be using our journeys as what do they call it now? We're going to be using our journeys. Can you consider this?
And Coach here and I can see you.
Can
And
you
I
hear me?
yes, ma, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I've not actually done this before with YouTube,
I
so
know.
I'm just doing it for the first time. And we are already live. Oh, we're already live.
Yes, we're live.
Yeah. Okay. So can you sit? Are you sitting? Are you sitting or you're lying down?
Well, sitting, but now I sit up. I was sitting
Hmm.
like this. Yes, but now I'm sitting up.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So much better.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Now we are seated the right way. So we are talking
Yes.
about the journey from being a rookie, a dummy sex educator as a parent, to now becoming a pro. Not just a pro in your home, but being also able to guide other people, other families, other parents, and other children. So we want to look at how we moved from that journey. Of course, I also took that journey. We all started from somewhere. Everybody's, nobody came as a pro. There's a saying that says that every master started as a disaster, right? So we all were disasters when it came to sex education. But today, by the grace of God, by the help of knowledge and information, we thank God for where He has brought us to. So that is what we are talking about today. How did we move? What were the experiences we had? What were the battles we fought? What were the shifts that we had to make? What were the knowledge that we had to drop? And what were the new ones we had to pick? And how did we move from being embarrassed to now being confident? How did we move from being ashamed about it to now becoming really competent? That's what this conversation is about. Trusting that somebody is going to be encouraged and somebody is going to begin their own journey immediately. Let's move on. Let's start immediately. First of all, you started, and I remember when you approached me, I don't know how many years ago, and talked about.
About 6
I know
years
you
now.
actually enrolled. Yes. Eh?
About 6 years now. 6 years ago.
Uh-huh. That was a long time ago when your daughter was maybe in primary three or
Three.
four.
Primary three. Yeah, primary three, yeah.
So yeah, so you actually approached me, and she was like one of my, students in sex education, and the journey began both for her and for you. And I know that when you started, when at that moment, how was it? Were you having that conversation with her, children?
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for this session, and I hope really it will impact a lot of people, not just for their own families, but for the communities in which they are in. We started this journey some 6 years ago, and I can tell you for free that it wasn't easy. It was not easy at all. I started the journey with my daughter, and then we were battling on how to really talk about sex and talk about name the sexual organs. Say this thing. How am I going to call the word vagina? How am I going to call penis? It was really heavy, and I know I cried out to you to say, I don't know how to say these things, so I don't know how to communicate it. So I bet you told me you just have to. You have to do it. It's better that your child hears it from you than hearing it from somewhere else. Because certainly they will hear it from somewhere else. But you and your children are better placed if they hear it from you. And that was a lot encouraging for me. And of course, we classes with you. So the class was not just for my daughter. Yes, she was the one interfacing with you one on one, but on each class that you had with her, I was just by the side and also making my notes on how am I going to take it further. How am I going to be able to teach these things? And yes, those classes helped a lot. They helped a lot, and today, yes, we're glad to say that we're no longer ashamed to call our body parts. We're no longer ashamed to talk about sex. We're no longer ashamed to talk about or name the body parts with their proper names. So that's where we are, and we're still growing.
All right, beautiful, and it's really so very profound because I remember one of our sessions that I had with um, your daughter and then some other people, like a group session, and we are having a conversation about dating. And I threw the question open. I Before I really actually started talking about it because I prefer that method, to hear what is going on in the mind of the children first, hear what they are hearing from other places, hear their mindset concerning whatever, before you now even know what to teach, what to correct, what to instruct. So that day I sampled the opinions of all the children there. It was profound and it was very, very, very refreshing to hear from Chekude when she defined and how she defined dating. I was like, wow, you know, the truth is that there is a difference between a child who is exposed at home, who is being taught, who is being guided at home, and a child who is just getting information randomly. So you see, out of all the children, everybody is saying the same thing, but one child is saying a different thing altogether. That's how the difference, that's how we see the difference between a child who is having these conversations at home and the one who is just receiving random information from everywhere. Okay. So one of the difficulties we face, and I know you faced it, is the difficulty of where you're coming from, where we are all coming from. Where are we coming from? We're coming from a, a history or a parenting that where such things were not talked, right? How did that affect?
Hmm. As a person, it affected me so much because growing up from a background where you weren't taught anything about sex or sexuality, where indeed you have to hit your head on the wall time and again to be able to get that which should have been taught to you. It affected a lot, and it didn't help matters a lot. And because of that, a lot that background that one is coming from. For instance, your child is 10, going on 13, 14.
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yes, you
I
went off a
I
bit.
lost connection.
Yes, you went
Hmm.
off a bit. Now you're back. Okay. So I said, your child is a preteen, and you know that very soon we'll be getting into puberty, and children usually at that stage battle quite a lot. But you find yourself in a state where you don't even know what to teach that child. But I thank God that in my own stage, my own sex, it's different because it's like I said, okay, fine, this baggage I've carried is not going to go on to the next generation. So that was a message for me, and that was the race I ran with you, saying no, this is not going to go anymore. It's going to stop here with me. And I'm glad, yes, that it did stop because it affected me in not being able to teach the things that I am able to teach. I remember very well when my son came back from the boarding school as a preteen. He had, of course, he was already in the boarding house, and I'd read the book by Coach Wendy on what's this? Puberty on puberty. Yeah,
Making your
the
child through puberty.
Thank you. Walking your child through puberty. I finished reading that book and I was wowed at the various stages of puberty. And behold, my son came home and I started talking to him about puberty. And we went talking about wet dreams. And he was like, what? Mommy, who told you about that? I just experienced that. So I imagine if I didn't have that knowledge, if I didn't have that information. So he was able to explain to me what he passed through, how he was now like second guessing himself. What had happened to me? What does this mean? And behold, this had just happened a few months back, and he was home. And here I am talking to him about it. This young man ran with that book to go and read it. He read everything and came back saying, thank you, mommy. Thank you for teaching me this. Thank you. At least now I know. So, yes, it affected me a lot, but I tried to change the story. And I'm glad and happy that, yes, I changed it. I changed it today because, yes, they can come on these sexuality topics to ask me, what is this? What is that? That's because of the fact that we already have this window open. If I wasn't able to start this conversation with them, they wouldn't be able to come ask me anything on sex or sexuality or anything about their body. So I'm really glad at the level on which we're going. We're not yet there. We're still a work in progress, but yes, we're getting better every day. And I am really, really very happy about all of this.
Wow, this is really powerful, right? It's really, really powerful. Now, we know that they say it's always the best Imagine that you actually had that conversation with him before he experienced it. It would have been a whole different experience altogether. But it's all good. When he came back, you now had the conversation with, you now heard it from you for the first time. And now he was now assured, that assurance that everything is all right. I'm okay. I'm not bedwetting. I'm not, imagine, taking that conversation to a friend, a mate, a peer, someone that could just, and that has happened a lot of times. That's happened a lot of times, and you see that they now start using to talk about something that is unrelated, and from there, the child just goes away that way. So, I mean, that story is really, really very profound, and we all came from there. Not nothing like, oh, because our parents did not talk about it, so and we turned out fine. So why should we bother to talk about it? That's the conversation of foods, right? Because, like you said, you needed to change the trend. You needed to cut something off from what it used to be, and that was what you were able to do. Now let's talk about. Are you still there? Okay. Okay, welcome back. I thought you were frozen. So,
Yes,
every one
yes.
of us are coming from a history of no open conversations at home about sex. Like, let me say 99% of we parents are coming from that history. So it's not an excuse for anyone at all. And if you keep it as an excuse, where you're also going to raise another and it's going to be worse. A lot of us did trial and error. A lot of us entered into errors that we're not supposed to enter. A lot of us just sailed through by God's mercy and grace. We are not going to just say our children, let the grace of God cover them, let the mercy of God follow them. And this is an era where there is knowledge in abundance. We can't say that,
Absolutely.
right? We don't let them move on trial and error. We have to be their guide. We have to disciple them through their sexual lives. Then one called God forbid. I don't know if you are there. I was there too, where you say when you hear something, sexual abuse, ah, rape, ah, incest in a family, you say, God forbid, it's not my portion. It can never happen to my family. It can never be my family. It can never be me. Were you ever there?
Yes, coach, like you rightly said, all of us were there. No exception. Yes, we were all there. You hear and
What do
it's
you
like,
think?
what? Yes.
What do you think that mindset does to somebody? Like when you just have that mindset that no, it can't happen to me.
It's a no strategy. That is not a strategy for anybody to work with. It's not a strategy for anybody to work with. To just say, God forbid, it's not my portion. God forbid, it's not for my family. No, 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 no. It is something because we live in a sexualized world today. Whether you like it or not, these children will stumble on sex. They will stumble on pornography. Yeah, in fact, the pictures are all over on the street. Even as you drive around town, even as you go everywhere, it's there, even among their classmates. So you saying, God forbid, it's not my portion. God forbid, it's not for my family. That's like you deceiving yourself. That's like self-deceit. It's not a parenting strategy at all. It's not any strategy for any of us to use today because whether you like it, we're sexualized even in the homes and the music we listen to on the streets
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
best thing for us to do is to get knowledge. If you get knowledge, then yes, you can begin to model and begin to teach your children that this is how God has ordained that these things should be. If you don't have the knowledge, there's no how you'll be able to teach it.
So before you get to even looking for knowledge, you have to overcome that God forbid is not my portion attitude. Because
Yeah.
when you just remain and that God forbid is not my portion, you're not placing yourself, I need to run. No, I need knowledge. No, you are not needy, you are just satisfied. Because once you say God forbid is not my portion, it's not my family, it's not my children, it shuts down caution. It shuts down, like, You won't look for, as in, you're not seeing yourself as someone who needs help. Like,
Mhm.
I need to do something because you're already saying God forbid, and for you, God has forbidden it. So it's very dangerous, right? So
Yeah.
let me point out another one. We are all children of God. We serve God. We are religious people, and personally, I always like to be involved in God's things. And then there is this one that says, because I'm working for God, because I'm a Christian, because I'm a woman of God. God will not allow my children to those things to happen to my children. Now, where does conversation come? Like, okay, if we are religious people, we pray for them, we work for God. Can we now relax and say, okay, God will take care of it? Does God educate children? Does God train children? I mean, what do you think?
I think that that's a very laughable state or situation for anyone to be, to just say because I work for God, these things will not come my way. No, 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 no. That's an unfortunate place to be, because the Bible tells us that faith without works is dead. The fact that I work for God, that the fact that I'm a woman of God, I'm a man of God, it's for me to indeed do my parenting very well. My God is not going to come to parent my children for me. Even if
Hmm.
I work, I'm a woman of God or I'm a man of God, I'm a pastor or whatever. No, I am still expected to model what it should be in the home, parenting my children. God is not going to do that for me. The fact that I'm working in the ministry is not going to do that for me. That is my job. It is my responsibility to do that job, and that of no other person. I cannot delegate it to the church. I cannot delegate it to the domestic staffs that I put around my house or whatever. No, it is absolutely my job and my duty to do as a parent.
Wow, that is it. Even when we were in university, I used to be very, very committed in fellowship. And we used to pray a prayer when we are praying, say, God, as I walk in your vineyard, please walk in my vineyard.
Your
So,
vineyard.
where it's a lot of ignorance. I know people who are failing. God, it was so painful. And with your ignorance and immature mind, you'll be like, what's happening? God, this guy who is so committed to you, how can he fail? I remember, painfully, I remember uh, fellowship president at the time studying pharmacy. And pharmacy, by the time you've done maybe one, two, repeat two times, you fail out. You fail out of the department, just like medicine. So, and it happened to him. And I had so many questions in my inner mind, right? Okay, working for God doesn't mean that God will come and read your books. Will he attend your lectures? He will not do all that. It's still your responsibility to be able to, and you have to represent God by even doing well, showing hard work and diligence in studying, and then your result will now prove that indeed you're a child of God. Not just okay because you're so involved in God's work, then you now okay, God will now be doing miracles for you to pass exam. Even God will not be able to be there, right? So we have people like Eli, Eli in the Bible, and we saw how he's treated. Even Moses, we didn't even hear about. Even great prophet Samuel. Samuel was one of the greatest prophets in Israel. At the point, they said that his son would be able to lead them. I mean, a whole, you see, men of God, right? So it's not these two different conversations working for me, right? But you need to take care of your home. You take care of your
Yeah.
children. You train them. You sex ed, you decide it's your work. And as long as you don't do it, God will still be using you. Like God will even be blessing the work of your hands, your ministry. But you see, that area is a failure. You have failed
Yeah.
in that area. Okay, so everyone, God does not. teach, disciple, or train or sex educate our children. It is the
Yes.
responsibility that He has given
Okay.
to us to do.
Correct.
Then, you said something, but let's touch on it again, which many parents don't know, don't realize. If you don't do this, what are you actually doing for your child? If you don't, you have two options. If you're not the one talking, what's happening? Yeah, you're as it doesn't mean that if you're not talking, some parents they say, I don't want to talk, so my children will not even know about it. Let them remain in their ignorance. If you don't talk, is that actually what's happening? Are they ignorant? That is, they're not hearing anything because you're not talking?
All right,
Is
Coach,
it
you're a bit frozen, but I got your question. The fact that we
okay?
parents aren't teaching in these areas of sexuality, does it mean that our children are complete novice or they don't have this information? They do have it 100%. What it means is that you have left the world to teach your children. And to be candid, the world will not teach them the way you will teach them. So it is not that they are not hearing, they are hearing. It is not that they don't get this information, they are getting it from some other source. Except if you are a parent who also is knowledgeable or who cares and is monitoring, then yes, you will begin to see those gaps and those lapses. So whether we like it or not, it is in our place to teach our children sex and sexuality. If we don't do that, the world will teach them. And they will not teach them in the ways of God. They will not teach them in the right ways. They will lead them astray. Just like Coach Wendy will say too. You meet street aunties, street uncles, those corner people. Yeah, they will teach them, but they will not
Yeah,
teach them the truth. They
exactly.
will never teach them the truth. They will teach them and then they will make the mistakes of life that they should have avoided if we did step up as parents to do this teaching ourselves. And yes, it is a call to duty for us all to step us as parents to teach our children about sex and sexuality. It's our calling to do.
Wow. So that you're not talking doesn't mean that they are novice.
No, they are not novice.
You
They
see,
know.
I remember in post page recently, I said, there is nothing, I don't, there's nothing I don't take my children for granted anymore. When you say, they don't know this one, let me come and let's talk about it. I know, I've left that place because they've shocked me in the past. Like, okay, let's talk about this. They will give you a step higher of the information you want to talk about.
True. True. The truth of the matter is this. If you do, like I normally have pillow talk with my children, you will be wowed what they know. You'll be wowed what they know. So you leave them, like you rightly said, drop the subject and allow them do the talking before you come in. That's where you will know that even that subject that you think you know, they know even to the next level. They know to the next level. So God help you that you are guiding and you are directing. So when they hear these things outside, or when they go, whether you like it or not, they will because they go to school, they meet with friends, they go to churches. It's there, even in churches. Even in churches, they will teach them, they
Yes,
will tell them. So it's only when you have the open and a listening ear for them to come back to you on this continuous conversation. It's not a one-day conversation, it's an ongoing conversation. Except you are ready for that. That's when they will go and come back and say, what about something like this? What about this? And except you do have these structured or unstructured conversations with them, you could be driving and drop the subject and you'll be surprised. If you don't have yourself together, you'll be shocked at what you will hear. So it's not that they are not hearing or they are novice because we keep quiet of it. No, no, no. They are hearing, they are not novice, they see, they hear, and yes, if you don't fill in the gap, it's a wrong practicalization that will storm you in the face and you will be like, what? So this information abound everywhere on the streets. We see nude pictures everywhere. We see it on the TV. We see it in the music.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
We hear it even in the churches. They talk
Yeah.
about it with their peers. Yes. So the fact that you're not talking as a parent does not mean that the children are complete novice. They know way more than you can imagine.
This one, this particular one, very, very critical. Many parents just feel, oh, because they're living with these children, that they are so ignorant, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And when they say something like, how can? In this place where just by tapping your phone, you have you have loads, thousands of information just by tapping your phone. Just by, I mean, everywhere. Then you say you're not talking. How will you know what they know? And how will you know
Mm,
what to correct, what to teach, what to guide? It's really
mm,
dangerous. Now, there is a fear that is very palpable among parents. I'm sure you also had that fear in sex conversations. It's called TMR, the fear of too much information, right? Am I going to, what am I, what, even when you say talk about sex with children, they'll say, how can I tell children about sexual intercourse? That's for them, that's what it's about. And that's too much information. So, how did you conquer the fear of giving much more information than the age of your child?
Okay, thank you again. Like I said before, in this age and time, information abound, but does wisdom abound? No. Wisdom, you have to seek wisdom. You have to seek it through training, through learnings, through reading. So yes, we will. If you ask Chat GPT whatever question you want to ask, you will have loads and loads of information. So it's up to you to see which is the right one to take and which is not. So how I conquered this was through training. I underwent a lot of trainings, some with my children, some alone, and I read. I read because I want to keep up the pace. That because what these children know today, when I was 30, I didn't know it. So I have to double up. I have to double up, and I also have to be alive to, to flow with them at this age and at the level.
Yes,
Otherwise, they
yes.
think maybe you belong to another century way back, and it becomes a problem for you. So it's only by reading and by flowing with the trends of the time, so you know what's up. You have to know. You really have to know what's up as to this parent, and
You
you
have
you
to know
now,
also.
yes, and then you now align that with your wisdom and your knowledge and the trainings, that the right and correct trainings that you get, and of course backed by the words of God that you already know. That's the only way out. That's the only way out. You need to get
Exactly.
knowledge. You need to train. You need to
Mhm.
read. You need to research. That's the only way. You will not be flawed by them, because they could ask you some questions that will hit you below the bed. That's for true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, you said it right. That yeah, it's a valid fear. What if I say something that is more than this? And it's really, I mean, it has happened. I've heard of where it has happened. So when you do that, you now drive the child to negative curiosity, and
Mm.
then you see a child maybe going out to look for pornography because of what they heard in the name of sex education, or a child going to involve herself in lesbianism because of what she heard in sex education. There was a gap, there was a problem, because that's not what you're supposed to do. So it's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
absolutely valid fear that I don't want to talk to my child and say what and say more than I'm supposed to say and drive the child to negative curiosity. But it's not an excuse to keep you from talking. Absolutely, Madam Tessie has said it all. All you need to do is to be trained. All you need to do is to read, is to study. Okay, concerning this thing, how far am I? What am I supposed to say? how much am I supposed to stay? Say, where am I supposed to limit by age, by age, by age, by age? What should
Yeah,
I do if
true.
I get a bigger question, or if I, it's all about reading, studying, learning, and implement. Because by the time you want to start practicing, you now meet another challenge, and you wonder, okay, I've said this. What should I now say next? So it's all about learning, unlearning, and relearning. Yeah,
Absolutely, coach, because what you need to teach um, for a toddler is not the same information you need to give to a teenager. And
exactly.
you need to give it age appropriate, and you also need to give it gender by gender. So, and you also
Mhm.
have to know how to give it. There is a how to give this information, to teach it. And you can only get this via trainings, reading, and learning and unlearning, realizing that we are also coming from a background without any foundation at all on this. So we're building it and hoping that the next generation will take it a lot further. So yes, like I said earlier, we're doing well, we're growing, we're not yet there, yes, but we're a work in progress.
It's a journey, right? It's a journey.
Yeah, yes, it is.
So, okay, you started, then you see inconsistency, right? Like, okay, I did not, I do it this month, next month I forgot, next week I forgot, and how do we, how can you help it? Okay, this parent has actually started, you know, overcame all those fears, but then this parent is quite inconsistent. Okay. If you ever found yourself in the place of inconsistency, can you tell us what you did? If you didn't find yourself in that place, you can still help us with the right wisdom to overcome inconsistency. Because, like you said, it is an ongoing conversation. It's not a one-time talk.
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, you know this thing is precept upon precept, huh? It's a
Mm-hmm.
journey. It's a journey, and yet we're bound to fall. So it's only when we fall and you remain there that it becomes a problem. We will forget, yes, we will forget. We will be tired to do it at the time we're supposed to do it. Yes, that will come up. We will experience all of that. But what is important is that you tell yourself, oh, I'm supposed to do this. I have failed or I've skipped this. And you plan it in again. That's like picking yourself up again. And you schedule it and you say, okay, fine, we didn't do it then, but we can do it now, telling
Mm-hmm.
yourself, okay, I'm not perfect, I'm growing. And there are times that you will have some questions that you won't be able to answer. It's okay that you don't know everything. And like I tell my children, look, I didn't know this before. We're all learning it together. I'm learning, you're learning. Okay. Okay, these questions you've asked me, I don't have the answer now. Give me some time, I will come back to it. And you go to your coach, or you go to do your research, and you go to check, and you have the answers, and you come back. But don't say I come back to it and never come back to it. When you see you're coming back to it, make sure you address the issue. So yes, inconsistency we will all experience. If we are human. Fall, yes, we will all fall. But when we fall, please don't stay there. Pick up yourself and continue on this journey. You're not going to get it all done in one day, because it is an ongoing conversation.
It
You will have the
involves,
structured
yeah.
classes, yeah, and the unstructured classes. Take every opportunity as it presents itself to do these teachings, and model it yourself too. Model it. You don't say one thing, but you're doing another. Yes, we will experience all of that, but the
Awesome.
zeal to keep us all going is what we need.
Awesome. So, yeah, it's very profound. And I believe, I remember that we started when your daughter joined us, we are doing the once a week sex education every Saturday. So that
Yes.
was actually a framework. I was like, okay, to beat inconsistency, doing it, just pick a day in a week where by this so and so time you talk about it. right? So I created that platform for parents to actually know how every Saturday there's sex education in this house by so so and so time. So
Mm.
that's a way of doing that. Then let's talk about the structure, like curriculum, like okay, how will I make sure I'm saying everything I'm supposed to say at the right time? When I'm supposed to when I'm supposed to talk about teenage pregnancy, it's not something I'll talk about. I'll talk about when the child is 4 years old. How will I arrange myself to make sure that when time comes, I know what I'm saying per time? Okay, I'm supposed to start talking about puberty, let's say by age 6 or 7 or 8, depending on the child, depending on the family and this thing. How will I not? How will I arrange myself not to forget? And there are a lot of. I remember last year's text we get like a pro. We had topics. What do they call it now? Selling of eggs. You know,
Yeah,
selling of eggs. We had topics like
interesting. Yes.
digital something something. You know, digital. So how do I make sure that I always know have what to say and the right thing to say per age, per gender? Do you get me?
Yes, because you are cracking up. I'm just trying to.
Okay, are we back? So we were saying that you talk about these things age appropriately. How you talk to a 4-year-old is not how you would talk to a 14-year-old. How you talk to your 6-year-old is not how you would talk to your 16-year-old concerning the same topic. Yeah.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I lost you. I lost you completely. I just got back on stream again.
Okay, so how I was saying how you talk, you have already touched on this. So we want to expound it now. It's touched on this. What you say to a toddler is not what you say to a teenager, right? And it doesn't matter what the
Yes.
topic is. We keep saying that no matter what you want to talk about, you can actually say it to every age of the child, but your languaging will now distinguish, will now separate your conversations, right? So I was now asking, how do you, you know, move? Okay, at age 4, as toddlers, we're just focusing on body safety, saying no, protecting their body, autonomy, and all that.
Yeah.
Calling the anatomy, the names, and the right anatomical names. Now, as they
Mhm.
proceed, okay, when do I know how to start puberty conversations? When do I know how to take the conversation, a notch higher? How so that I don't miss any topic. You get it now?
Okay. All right. I get you now. Okay. Yes, it's a curriculum that I think we as parents should know, because teaching your child sex and sexuality is based on their age, developmental age. I cannot begin to teach a child of 4 years about puberty or about, no, I cannot. It's stage by stage. So I should know at what age what communication I should give to a toddler, and what should I be talking with a child who is a preteen or who is about to go into puberty. I know what to talk about, and I should know what to talk about with my child when the child is 18 going on 20. I should know what to talk about. Even when they begin to prepare for marriage, 20 and above, 25 and all of that, I should know what I should be talking. I don't, it is not to give all information out at the same time. You confuse the child, and
Hmm.
they begin to, what would they do? You also, it's good to ask yourself as a parent, what I mean, what this I'm teaching this child, of what value is it? What is the child going to do with it? And I think we will know when we are given the right or wrong communication, because the child will flow with you.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we talked about curriculum, right? So we
Yeah.
all work with, we like to work with curriculum, just like school. They work with curriculum, right? Not in
Yes.
primary one, they talk about addition. In primary two, they do the same. Four, five, even secondary, they do the same. But they do it in a different way. They know where to add more information as the child grows. And it's very key in sex education, right? You can't be telling him, even the child will be looking at you like, about. I remember a parent that said they are talking of how JS1, her children were in JS1, I think twins. So they were asking her how to give birth, how she gave birth. And she said, what was she just say one something. They were laughing at her. They had heard it. Right? She didn't know that. This children have, you have left me, oh. This is not where they are again, though. Like she was trying to cover some. Mommy, even through CS, you can give them. She was like, where you getting that? Do you understand? So,
Yeah.
also you don't take it on the words like that. You have to follow a structured curriculum, and then,
Yeah.
like you said, through communication, for example, you're answering the question about sex. First of all, you say, okay, it's boy and girl. That's the first thing you say. Let me say the child is 6 years or 7 years. Okay, I'm not saying 6 years, 7 years, 7 years, 8 years, boy and girl, and then you listen and pay attention. Like, okay, when you talk about leaving the door open, okay, you're looking at the child, you're observing. What do you think? That's boy and girl. Say, okay, okay. What else do you know about it? The child will now say, somebody said, father, mother, you don't know. Okay, this child is ready for the next information about
Exactly.
this conversation. So I won't
Exactly.
hide it from you. I won't hide it from him because
Mm-hmm.
he has to hear it from me first. So if you have said any other thing apart from boy and girl in sex, so let's move it further. But even in moving it further, you're not going all out as if you're talking to an 18-year-old, right? So you also take it to another level according to the child's whatever. So you already mentioned
Yeah.
structured and unstructured moments. Unstructured moments, we talk about teachable moments, taking advantage of moments, and I just put it under overcoming embarrassment. How did you use unstructured moments to overcome embarrassment?
Unstructured or structured?
Unstructured, like moments where it was not planned and maybe they are doing chores
At
or
all.
and give us more examples of
Yes.
unstructured moments that parents can take advantage of. So they use the opportunity to be tuning their ignorance, their embarrassment.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Unstructured sexual your sexual education periods could come. Maybe you're doing chores together, or you're playing together, or maybe you're even taking a drive around town together. And of course, like I said, these children know way more than us, and they drop this very huge question on you. And if you're not careful, you need to apply your brake very well and look back to who is talking or what am I hearing. So if it's something you need to put yourself together before you come back to them, so okay, please, can we look at this topic much later? Or you could be very vulnerable to say, oh, I don't know about this. I will have to ask my coach, or I have to research this, or I have to read more about this. But yes, they do come. They do come. They will ask questions that will throw you off your feet. But um, please make sure you get back to them with the correct, adequate, and relevant answer. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So, the scripture that comes to mind is where God was talking about, talking where you're lying down when you're walking on the road, when you're lying
Yes.
on the bed. So
Mm-hmm.
what we are simply saying is that it mustn't be, especially there was a parents, I mean, a session I had. So, these parents came back with very bitter because her sons are in boarding school. They are teenagers, I think 15 and 14. 15 and 14. And then she
Okay.
chose to be the age of sex. It becomes difficult, more difficult as they grow. So when they are still small, you can structure it every Saturday by
Yeah.
4 p.m. You have sex education. Everybody's happy,
Yes.
everybody, the information is small. Even you, ma, your embarrassment is at the lowest level. But it's a different ball game
Very.
when you're about to start and these guys are 15, 16, 14, 13. They have already had a lot, they've formed their processes, they've formed their ideas and everything, and you're coming to bombard them. That's when you make
Mm.
use of unstructured moments a lot. You take
Love.
words, find movies that you know carry the message that you want to share, and you could watch it. And while watching it, conversations are going on. Find books, take advantage of news, events. That's how to do
Mm.
it. So they will talk about it, don't mean that you're actually talking about it, right? That parent was so, I was calmed down. Both her and her husband, everywhere chaos, because you want to come and treat them like, and they already had, and then they bring their own ideas, is against your idea. Say,
Exactly.
boyfriend, new boyfriend and girlfriend in this house. When they start, say, mommy, I already have a girl in my school. Pa, 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 pa. You understand? So that's why we will always say early is the best, right?
Very,
I
very
know
important.
this book that we just, what's that book said? The Dating and Marriage Plan book.
Plan.
I always
Yes.
say,
Okay.
you don't,
Godly dating and
that,
marriage plan book. Yes.
it's my idea, it's my belief and conviction. You don't wait till when, okay, your child is getting to 20,
Mm.
21. You know that, okay, married, you start talking like, no, no, no.
You missed
You
it.
know, my daughter knows who, we talk, talk, talk. Even before this book came out, one day we talk. I said, this is the man, this is the man. She just said to me, I know where to find such kind of men. You know that you will not find the man in the bar, in the club, or
Exactly.
in a random place. You know where you
Yes.
fix yourself to be
Find
able to
such
find
men.
such kind of man you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old. It's not, you know, when they bring one man, I saw somebody putting up something on social media, say that she said, people's mothers are kind. Oh. She said, this actress, Destiny Etiko, the person that she's bringing to marry, the person's outlook, everything. The person question say, if it's her mother, these are not conversations that you have much later. The tattoo, the body is covered with tattoo, the ears are covered with rings, the person is looking haggard, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so you already know that in your home, this cannot hold. So
Exactly. It's a no-no.
you cannot even talk to, as in you cannot have such conversation with the guy. This is something that was established from when you were 6 years old,
Long time ago.
years old,
Yes.
13 years old. So it's already seated
Mm-hmm.
in you. So all those fights will not be there, right? So that's why it's good to start early. And even if you didn't start early, start already now, now, now. It's never ever too. And like we've
Yeah.
said over and over again, man, Tessie has said it over and again, we can't overemphasize the place of learning, studying, reading. That's how you build competence. And when you build competence, when you build confidence, you build competence. And when you build
That's true.
competence, all those embarrassment, shame, all those things will be um,
Oh
by the
God.
way. We are concluding this by talking about prayer, of course. You need to hear. Say, all these things, we say God does not raise children, God does not facilitate you. But at the same time, we know that parenting is partnership. Okay, so how do we even bring their sexuality into prayer? Is this something we need to talk to God about? Is this something we need to pray about? Is this something we need to cover in prayer? Or it's just let's just educate?
No, we really need to cover it in prayer. No, there's no how we can do this. Educating sex education to be able to understand the blueprint of each particular child, because as many as we have them, my people used to say that one mother will have, but they all have their different cheese. That's ofunne namo, mananobo fuchi, which means everybody have their own. It's just like saying that every child has his or her own personality. Every child and
Mm.
every person is unique. So you cannot say that, oh, this child that is like this, you need to know which child you're parenting. And for you to be able to know that, to know how to teach sex to that child, if it's a sanguine for instance, you need to go to God in prayer. You need to go to God in prayer, and whether we like it or not, we will receive answers on how or what to teach and guide each and every child. Yes, we need the hand of God in our parenting and even as we teach our children sexuality. Very important to partner with God on this journey. Yes.
Conversation this evening for where problem is where
Yes.
praying. I pray for them. I know a parent that say, I every 2 a.m. I pray for them. You have conversations with them. I pray for them.
For them.
Okay, so it's prayer is not more important than education, and education is not more important than prayer. It's just like telling somebody to choose between brushing their teeth and taking their bath. It's not. It doesn't. It's not, they are not options. They
Mhm.
are on it
It's a
on their
combo.
own, right?
Mhm.
Yes, it's a thank you so much. It's a combo, it's a collaboration something. So you are doing your part and you are letting God do his part. You do your part, you don't do God's part, and you don't expect God to do your own part. So yes, we cover them in prayer, we pray for them, we cover because the atmosphere is sexualized, like you said. The atmosphere. The atmosphere, especially I don't even know, did I say the riverine area, the south.
Everywhere.
Do you get? So apart from that, the music in the air is sexualizing the atmosphere. The media in the air, like move from here to here. You cannot have the right thing entering your ear. So it's like a spirit. It's like so you can finish teaching something, and then your child finds themselves somewhere, and then the spirit overtakes. So like I say, cover them in the blood of Jesus and say, my children are taught of the Lord. Even after I teach, the Holy Spirit continues to teach them, continues to remind them. When
Mhm.
you send your children, they are at the point where they need to make that decision. They will not forget everything. They will not say, you I said you should say no. How did you forget everything you're learning? No, that's where
Yes.
prayer comes. The Holy Spirit now reminds them. Then
Right.
I know another parent asked me, what if they say, okay, you're teaching them to say no, to fight back. What if it's a rape situation? I remember many years ago, someone asked me that question. What if it's a rape situation? Right? And I said, okay, there's one scripture I use for that. When Abraham lied about and said, she's my sister. And Abimelech took her in. And then God came to him and said, you are a dead man. You took somebody's wife.
Yes.
Abimelech said, I never thought her. You cannot do anything to me. I've not. God said, I know.
Come
I
come and take the
withheld
one.
you from hurting me. I withheld you. That's a prayer condition, tight situation. And then to do whatever prayer. That one you cannot do it. You cannot. No matter what you do, no matter how much education you did, you cannot protect your child. It's God's own office. So you see the
That's
balance. You leave God to do his own and you do your
okay.
own. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you, Madam Tessie. I hope you come again. In fact, I hope you start doing your own.
Yes. Um, Coach, thank you so much for the push. Yes, I will start doing my own. It's not only you, so many people are my matter. We will get there. We'll get there. There's no doubt about it. And thank you for
Yeah.
this privilege. Thank you for this privilege. I don't take it for granted. I'm
So
happy and
we'll still
yes,
continue doing it, right?
yes, I'm
Until you
happy.
now move on. Because I can see that your YouTube channel, you just use it to watch. You don't use it to create. So you need to now push it so that subscribers will come on. I think you need to
Okay,
get up to 50 to start going live. So
okay. All
push
right.
it, let them subscribe so that you can also start going live. And you
Okay.
did so well. This conversation is so good. Thank you
Thank you
so much
so much.
for this.
Thank you.
See you behind the
I
camera.
appreciate this.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thank you
lot.
so much. Thank you. All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks to the audience for watching with
Okay.
us. And if you're catching the replay, you can actually leave a comment here. Thank you so much. And see you next time by God's grace. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.